It is a wrap on VGK's regular season. The Golden Knights with a 4-1 victory in Vancouver last night. Now the focus shifts to Sunday's opening playoff game in the series against Minnesota. We've got much more ahead on this spicy edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. I am a veteran sportscaster, marketing consultant, host of Believe in Vegas on the Believe Network, host of the Santino Marella pre-show at the Beer Park this Saturday, the WrestleMania viewing party. That's new. That's new, Mr. Golick. I said, I'm staying away from WrestleMania, and here we go.
And you're hosting a watch party?
Chris, the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and Collectibles, editor of the Hockey News. Coming up ahead, did Chandler Stephenson take a shot at Bruce Cassidy?
Spoiler alert, yes.
And we have some playoff notes. I don't know. The bracket's all set. Yes, Mr. Golick. So we've got a Q&A going on with the one and only Santino Marella coming up at the Beer Park right there on Saturday afternoon. I'll be in action from 3 to 6 p.m. To be honest with you, look at that look. This is great. I like the startled look. To be honest with you, I was surprised to see Jack Eichel and Alex Pietrangelo back in the VGK lineup. I don't know if Pietrangelo was in the lineup, if the ghost of was there. That's for sure. Why were they in the lineup? We saw what happened last night to Jason Robertson of Dallas. Again, last night, he could be missing now. Robertson missing some of the playoffs, if not all, with a knee injury on a hip check. And so I just couldn't understand. Yes, you want to get some skating time in for Eichel. Yes, you do want to get a garbage time goal there. But again, I just don't get it. And so now Eichel winds up with 94 points. Olofsson Dorofeev is 35th on his, 28th shot last night? 7th shot of the night. Took 7 shots. He was around it. And your guy even got into the act. The one, the only, Cole Schwindt, scoring his first ever NHL goal. If I were to score, if that's me, just me, right? If I were to score an empty net goal as my first goal, I don't want the puck. I don't even want the point. I want nothing. An empty net goal on your first NHL goal. Oh, that's so memorable. So memorable. Okay, Golick, bail me out here. Take it from there.
My wife got mad at me when we all went bowling when I was practicing, getting ready for my big tournaments. And I would get a strike and I'd be all pissed off. I'd be looking away, mad about the shot because I don't like the entry or the break point or my hand, positioning. And she's like, why are you so mad? You got a strike. I'm like, it's a terrible shot. It sucked. It was awful. So same thing applies to your empty net theory right there. There was a hockey game last night. Looking at the stat cards, Ben Hutton, top of the list. Nick Hague, Alex Pietrangelo on the bottom.
Our guy, Ben Hutton, I think it was his 10th game last night of the season that he's played in.
Yeah, something like that, 12, maybe, whatever it is.
Come on, Rangers, wake up and trade for this guy. Get this guy. Okay, go ahead.
So, no, I mean, you had a game happen. There's not much to take away. My interest level was next to nothing. Honestly, the only thing that sparked my interest in this game was all this nonsense breaking out on Twitter. Oh, Kira Schmidt, if he has a good game, he's going to be backing up. He's going to be backing up Aiden Hill in the playoffs. What the heck is that? That was I didn't understand. Schmidt has been okay these last couple of games, and that's fine. But the Golden Knights didn't sign Samsonov so he could be behind Akira Schmidt, who put up an 8.7, 8.8 save percentage in Henderson. And before anyone says, "Oh, Henderson, bad year," whatever. Well, you look at what Lindbaum did, and he was in the high 9.0s or 9.1 or even 9.2 save percentage or something. I forgot what the number was. It was remarkable, and they played the same number of games. So Schmid pumped the brakes a little bit. Coach Cassidy, about 2 weeks ago in an interview, I think, made a comment that Schmid's trying to find his way back into the NHL. So just relax, everybody. Relax on that. But, I mean,
say relax.
Vancouver, they wanted to be anywhere but the hockey rink last night. And the Golden Knights were, again, a couple horses that needed that start, Pietrangelo and Eichel mainly.
Did they need that start? Do you feel like they need it? Do you think Eichel needed that start?
I think so. Okay. I think it's good to get back to game speed for a little bit and not be shocked game one of the playoffs.
Can't Petro just play against do one of those clips against a beer league guy and then call it a day? That's a good little workout for him.
I mean, he did last night. Vancouver was a beer league team. They were terrible. They didn't want to be there. The high dangers 13-6, I believe I saw 13-6 in the high danger chances.
Was it like 10-0 in the third period? They just fell apart.
One. And then second period, the Golden Knights flipped the script, and that was that.
VGK playing that game without Stone, Hurdle, Barbashev, Hannafin, Saad, Whitecloud. Whitecloud, I wonder if his right hand is still hurting. He blocked that shot with his right hand the other night, and so he missed the game.
Hannafin, they were saying, was dinged up a little bit last night. Did you catch that?
Hannafin was. I did not catch that.
They were saying Hannafin was a little bit dinged up. It was either on the post game or it was on the main feed around the second or third period. I think they set a day-to-day designation. So curious what the deal is there. They made it seem like it's no big deal, but I think Hannafin might have missed last night's game because of an injury of some sort. That's what TNT said.
Hair malfunction, maybe. I don't know. So Saad was out. Aiden Hill obviously did not start in that game. I do want to point out the career seasons as Jack Eichel gets his 94th.
Good interview.
The better interview, the best interview was with Carlson. They asked him 2 questions and they were just done with him. And then Dorofeev, 35 goals, 52 points, big surprise. Howden, 23 goals, 40-point plateau, 40 points. Keegan Colasar, 12 goals, 30 points. Shea Theodore, 57 points. That's the best ever for a defenseman and his 50th assist of the season last night. And you said, I'm telling you, if Shea Theodore stays till the end of the game, he's going to rack up some serious numbers this upcoming season. You said it. You said he'd be a terror, I think, when we spoke about him in the offseason.
Shea Theodore had a better start to the season than the end of the season. Remember, Theodore was knocked off the top power play unit. Remember, Noah Hannafin got all the flowers and everything. And Theodore worked his way kind of back into things right now. And it's not a knock on Theodore. It's not putting Hannafin on the pedestal. Just the reality is when Hannafin came in, he was the new shiny toy. And Theodore, the year one misfit, was like, hey, hi, what about me over here? Was it the John Travolta meme from Pulp Fiction looking around? I think that was Shea Theodore for a minute there. Credit Theodore for the season he had. Weird injury, of course, in the Four Nations that hurt him for 15 games, whatever the number was. He played 67 games. I don't know if that was all 15 games were Four Nations, if there's anything else in there. But I'll say this again: if Theodore can put together a 78 to 80 game season, he will be maybe not a Norris finalist, but he will be in the top probably 5 to 6. And he is maybe a 76 to 78 point season away from being a Norris candidate. He's that good of a defenseman. His defensive game has improved over the years. His offensive game, like you said, 50 assists. What more can you say about that? 50 assists for a defenseman. So we'll see if he can elevate his game to, among the Makars and the Zach Werenskis and the Quinn Hughes and et cetera, and et cetera, and et cetera. Roman Josi, another one. So good on Shea Theodore. Good on him to lock up a nice long deal and a nice bag, and it's good to have him.
Yeah, speaking of Hannafin, he was the golden child there when he came in, got his own pin. That woman kept interviewing him like every night. I mean, think about all that. And then, of course, he spearheaded the power play. 50th win for VGK, 50th win. The third time that they've had 50 wins in a season, and the last 2 times they've gone to the Cup final. Things are definitely trending up for VGK, for sure. Is this VGK team under the radar this season? As
what a
your
narrative
guy
last night, huh? What a narrative last night.
As your guy Lars William Carlson, 2 questions on TNT, 2 questions, and they were pretty much done. On TNT, like he's talking about them being under the radar. Are they? Are the Golden Knights under the radar? Put that on the napkin, bro.
Am I answering that right now?
Well, yeah.
Okay. No, you said
I'm
napkin.
sure.
I wasn't sure we want to save that. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Well,
you
we could
think
talk about
the,
it 3 times between now and the playoffs because we don't know when they're playing.
Sunday, but
It's
they said Sunday or Monday on TNT. Actually, that was
I know
pretty
it's got to be 12:07 p.m. They can't play Monday, right? Isn't
They
there
can't play
wrestling
Monday.
again?
No, it'd be a 9 a.m. game. And they have to set up the roster.
It's 12:07 p.m. It's got to be Sunday. 12:07.
Yeah, I know it's a day game on Sunday, almost certainly. But going back to the under the radar stuff, I mean, in 22-23, Vegas was under the radar, even coming into the playoffs. It was they had a really good end of the season, obviously, but really no one was talking about them as a cup contender. And I'll still contend that team on paper is better than this team on paper. Now, am I saying this team is better right now or that this team is worse than that one? Not saying that either. But on paper, the 22-23 Golden Knights were a little bit sexier than what you have happening right now. Are they under the radar? Vegas is never under the radar. Don't kid yourself. You say anything on social media about the Golden Knights, and your timeline will light up with people, dogging the Golden Knights and stuff. If I go out there and put a post right now about third time, blah blah blah, 50 wins and a couple accolades, you'll get LTIR jokes, you'll get this, you'll get that, and all these things happening. And you know what? How about that? No LTIR shenanigans, Tony. Nothing weird about that. But speaking of LTIR, Dallas Stars, Edmonton Oilers, Colorado Avalanche, all these teams have high-end players coming back game 1 that didn't play game 82. And I'm not knocking the teams for doing this. The NHL gives them this loophole. So good on the teams. Every team should do it right now and make a mockery of the league. At some point that needs to be looked at. And the Golden Knights did not do any of that this year. And people even said when Tomas Hertl came back, he was gone for a few weeks with that shoulder. He came back like game 80 or 79, whatever it was last week, and people on social media, the Golden Knights are up to it again. Like, no, ding dong, wasn't even on LTIR. Shut up.
So one of the downsides here. So with that Cole Schwindt goal, he knocks Kerry Bobolts off of the cup. If it comes down to that, one of the downsides there. Cheers. Yeah. VGK now preparing for the Minnesota Wild Cards, and Thursday off, maybe Friday back to work day. Why can't the NHL release the schedule? Why can't they release the schedule as of 6:21 a.m.? Why not?
Well, and the Saturday schedule is out already too. That's the thing.
I
thought they were going to announce the whole schedule. I'm like, oh, here we go. Good. I'm checking Twitter. I'm watching. I'm like, what the heck?
Coming up next, did Chandler Stephenson take a shot at VGK head coach Bruce Cassidy? Told you it's going to be spicy around here. We'll get to that as we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. The NBA playoffs are here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on all the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you will receive $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I love how FanDuel definitely makes betting so easy, whether it is picking my favorite team, the Knicks, or diving into player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com today. That's FanDuel.com, and you can claim your $250 in bonus bets today. FanDuel.com. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, it is definitely going to be fun on What the Friday. So Chandler Stephenson, as far as I know, he was under the radar, right? He didn't say much here in the media, did he, while he was here in Vegas?
Just about grabbing your nuts and going to work.
Yeah. Exactly. So he left the franchise during free agency last summer, secured the bag. Yesterday, Stephenson talking about the head coach, Dan Bilsma, there in Seattle. And he says it's nice to have a coach that is a human being first,
Here we go.
not a coach first. So it's nice to have a coach that is a human being first, not a coach first. Do you feel, Golick, that Stephenson was taking aim at Bruce Cassidy? It sure appeared to be that way.
Considering that Stephenson led the team before the Golden Knights he was with the Capitals, in 2011 is when the Golden Knights brought him in, 2010, something, whatever it was when the Golden Knights, hold on, slow down, Chris, 2020, 2021, sorry about that, I'm watching a text message right now.
Okay.
When Chandler Stephenson came to the Golden Knights, so it's been, a good 4 or 5 years. He's not dogging his previous coaches, which would have been Trotz. It would have been Trotz. So, he's not dogging Trotz for his time with the Capitals. He's not, I don't think he's knocking on DeBoer, because DeBoer definitely was a happy-go-lucky human before everything.
Before he went to Dallas,
Before he went to Dallas, yeah. So this is definitely on Coach Cassidy. And I do remember in the past just hearing kind of quietly under the table that a lot of the players, their concerns about Cassidy. Cassidy, we talked about his expectations. We've talked about the fact that he never turns it off. We've talked about the fact that he's just tough. There was something in The Athletic recently about him either being one of the more disliked coaches in the NHL or tougher to play for. I forgot the exact statistic. Unfortunately, when I asked someone to clarify it, they didn't reach out from The Athletic, so that was unfortunate. But moving on from that, why is Stephenson doing this? I guess you're talking about a coach, and now looking at, I wanted to kind of go through Bilsma's. Is Bilsma or Bilsma?
Bilsma.
Okay, honest question, I don't know. He's got some nice accolades. Like, he came in as a replacement mid-season, won a cup with the Penguins in 08 or 09, and then he had 5 runs of the playoffs, out of the playoffs twice with the Sabres. Go figure there. And then Detroit, he's an assistant for a few years. They didn't do much in that time. Goes back to the American League, makes it to the Calder Cup final twice in a row with Coachella, loses both times, I believe, to the Hershey Bears, and then he's in Seattle right now, leading the NHL team. But point being is, we're talking about a coach who, besides inheriting a team that needed a change, hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything. He's Paul Maurice. He's Paul Maurice before a Stanley Cup. He's Pete DeBoer right now. And just kind of going on and on a little bit here, the issue isn't necessarily with Coach Cassidy. It's not saying Coach Cassidy is a garbage human, even though Chandler Stephenson basically is. The issue comes from something that Pete DeBoer talked about a long time ago. Mental health is extremely important everywhere in life, and that doesn't stop just because there's million-dollar athletes involved. It's equally as important to celebrities as it is you and I and our families and children and everything. And the problem is the general managers, the shelf life of an NHL coach as of a couple of years ago was 2.5 seasons for the Golden Knights. Cassidy is beyond that right now. For many NHL coaches, it was 3.5 years, and they're recycling coaches right now. Pete DeBoer made a comment: how are we supposed to develop relationships with these guys if every 2 to 3 years we're on the job hunt right now again? We're changing jobs. So I have no problem with Cassidy being as big of a hard ass as he wants to be. I know he's tough on the players. I know it makes it difficult coming to work every day for some of these players. I know I've got text messages that can back that up right now. But the problem isn't Cassidy or John Tortorella or how these coaches treat these players. It's the fact that these coaches know they're canned in 2 or 3 years in most circumstances. So they're going to come in, they're going to do it their way. They're going to risk the relationships with the players. They're not going to be their friends, and they're going to find a way to win a Stanley Cup. John Cooper is an exception. He's been around for a while with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Bylsma, we'll see what happens with him. Maybe he'll turn the Seattle team around, but he inherited a team with nearly a max payroll, and they made a big move in Chandler Stephenson, and they were out of the playoffs basically by February.
He went on to add Chandler Stephenson on the coach Dan Bylsma, and you sent me this morning. Certain games might not go your way, but the effort's there. It's not always we lost, so we suck, and back to the drawing board and all that. We lost, so we suck. That does sound like Cassidy, and
Fine.
he is a hard ass. No, I'm just saying, like that definitely points towards Cassidy. But I wonder where all this animosity came from a typically mild-mannered guy.
I think Chandler Stephenson is back at his coach. His coach had a bad first season, returning to the NHL for the first time as a head coach in 9 seasons, last with the Buffalo Sabres. And I think Stephenson.
So a team actually had like a media day when they cleaned out their lockers? No way.
Well,
Really?
Golden Knights
They still
do
do that?
always, unless they win
They
a
didn't
Stanley
last
Cup.
year. Was last year, did they? I don't think so. Remember? I don't think they did last year, did they? Anyway,
I would be
go ahead,
shocked if
proceed.
they didn't, but if
I
that's the
forget.
case.
I think, yeah, whatever.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, I get what Chandler is saying. I do, and I respect the mental health side of this. And I'm kind of talking on both sides of my mouth right now, but the problem is not Coach Cassidy. It's not Coach Cassidy being tough on the players. It's not what Tortorella does. It's not what Barry Trotz did, and inserts any difficult coach to, play for here. There's a culture in the NHL where, I mean, if Coach Cassidy, if they miss the playoffs next year, maybe Coach Cassidy's out. Who knows? I know it sounds crazy. I said it this year too. And that's not because of anything negative on Coach Cassidy. It's because that's the culture of the National Hockey League right now. So these coaches come in, they go as hard as they can, as quick as they can. And if it works out, cool. If not, all right, peace. I'll get another job somewhere else, because that's how the general managers treat these coaches as pawns. The players, they're getting 6-7 year deals, no questions asked. The coaches are getting 3-year deals, then they're getting bridge deals after that. So, I get what Stephenson is saying. I do. I don't necessarily think the timing was appropriate. I don't think Chandler, I mean, if Stephenson had enough guts, he should have said something, on the way out, like Marchessault did. I mean, all of a sudden, is Chandler Stephenson the classier one now all of a sudden because of this? I don't think so. I think he just became an enemy of the state-run media. There you go, Tony.
For sure. And Stephenson, a very good season there, 50 points, 13 goals on a team that lacked scoring. They were towards the bottom, right, in scoring this past season. So,
yeah, Stephenson was fine. He did exactly, and
reason.
Marchessault for that matter. They did exactly what was expected of them in their first season in their new teams.
Coming up next, the NHL playoffs are set. We take a glance at what's ahead, and we'll also break the time. No, we're not going to break the time of the start time of the day for VGK's playoff game. Coming up next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Did you know that Fire TV is also an Xbox? That's right. Turn any television into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. That's right. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play, and you are ready to play. Just dive into the hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 2025 to Call of Duty, Black Ops, and also Avowed, as easily as you can stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on Fire TV. Of course, you can definitely talk about the entertainment endlessly. With 4K streaming, you can now watch more than 1.5 million movies and television episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and much, much more. Play high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. Already have a console? A Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easier to travel with, allowing you to take you or your kids and your kids. You could take the games wherever you travel and plug in. So definitely want to check it out. Of course, you can definitely have, like me, little or no, very much casual gaming experience. This is a great way, I think, to get things started. And don't forget to head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On. Again, Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get yourself started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, second generation, Fire TV Max, first and second gen, and Fire TV Cube, third generation. Fire TV is also an Xbox. Learn more by going to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On. Welcome back on this Thursday edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and the Fire Stick himself, Chris Golick. We appreciate you making us your first listen. No shrug, no shoulder shrug yet, but you did give me the evil eye right there. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow is WTF Day with the Fridays, Saturdays, sometimes the Chris and Chris Jr. Show. And we appreciate everyone, especially our everydayers. So all the playoff matches are now set. In the East, the last piece, Montreal, last team in as wild card 2, and they'll be facing the Washington Capitals, and New Jersey also is in there, tangling with the Canes. And then for the third time in 4 years in the East, the Panthers and Lightning. The All Canada series that I really want to see, the Maple Leafs and the Senators, and it's going to be interesting there. Montreal started off this season 8-13-3, so they've done a really good job there as they get to the wire there and they make it into the playoffs. So do you have that schedule in front of you of what games we have first of all on Saturday? Do you have that maybe, perhaps? No? I'll pull it up if you don't have it somewhere.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah. So the NHL playoff schedule. Let's see.
I kind of do. They just put them all. The betting app put them all for 417 for now. So
there's one more game to go. The Flames and Kings are playing tonight. Oh, come on. Talk about
that's a makeup game. I mean,
that is the makeup game from the Fires. That's right.
Yes,
go ahead.
Makeup game. No, I mean, just the playoffs. I mean, it's exciting. Looking forward to setting up my bracket challenge in a little bit. Seeing.
Do I have to win that too?
They didn't do an internal one. I had a really good one, I think, 2 years ago. Interesting series, of course. LA and Edmonton. That's where the Golden Knights are going to keep their side eye on, if you will, to see what happens there. Odds wise, Kings coming in. Wow. Edmonton's minus 115, Kings are minus 105. So the sports books think we're going to see different.
There's no value in either line, is there? On either side?
I mean, I think the Kings should be favored in this.
Yeah,
and they're a slight dog. So, I mean, you get a little bit of value, I guess. Dallas, Colorado. What are we looking at there? Dallas plus 135, Colorado minus 155, despite Colorado being the road team in that one, so that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, and we don't know again. Jason Robertson limping off the ice there, right knee injury. I diagnosed it last night. It was easy to see.
Minus 300 for the Golden Knights. Minus.
I said what? 250. I thought it started minus 300.
No, it might have, and then
the
people
Minnesota Wild Cards. Are you kidding me?
Yep. The Blues are a shorter dog against the Jets, plus 200, minus 240. I think there's some value there to chase that one down. So, I mean, this would be a good time. This is
little St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean, there's value there definitely. Didn't you call them the fraudulent Jets yesterday or something like that on the show?
I slipped and called them frauds. Yeah.
Toronto, can they get out finally? They're going against Ottawa, which is not going to be an easy out. Brady Tkachuk's going to be a menace, but Tkachuk is hobbled coming into the playoffs, so that might make things pretty difficult on the Sens, but I'll never count them out. Tampa and Florida, I mean, that's always it's not quite the battle for Alberta, but it could be pretty close down there. Matty Tkachuk, another one who should be coming back. Another one who's going to miss game 82 and come back for game 1.
Yeah, he's skating.
So Florida, I mean, honestly, Florida might be more under the radar than the Golden Knights right now, if you think about that for a second.
They'll be there in the end. I
Yeah,
think they're going to be
yeah.
there
I
in
mean,
the
I
end.
don't know. I'm sure we'll do some picks tomorrow, but I think I don't know. I think Colorado is going to be the kind of quiet, sleepy team that's going to turn some heads right now.
Do you realize that the Dallas Stars lost 7 straight at the end of the season? 7 straight, and VGK overtook them for the number 2 seed. I didn't think the Golden Knights would be able to catch them there. They did. So we've got on Saturday at 3 o'clock airtime, the Blues against the Jets and the Avalanche Stars game 1, 5:30 p.m. from Dallas this Saturday. And those were the only schedules, times, and days that were released by the NHL. I don't understand why they can't get this figured out. I know that there's a lot of events at arenas this time of year and WrestleMania here, but you would think that they would be able to put out information a lot sooner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why it wouldn't have come out yesterday. So that's
last night during the game is when they had the start times.
Right, but for all the games, I
know, but like they announced them. So like, when are we playing this first game? So that's on a Wednesday. They're playing Saturday. It's kind of stupid. VGK will have the day off today, you think?
Oh God, yeah, they're travel. I mean, I don't know if they stayed in Vancouver last night, but they either traveled back to Vegas late last night or they're going to come back early today. My guess, honestly, is they probably had a night in Vancouver, and probably. I mean, I don't know. I would think end of the season, you got a full day off. I think the boys should have a little fun last night and hit a couple bars and cause a little bit of a ruckus, honestly, and then take today to recover. Go get one of those IV drips, maybe to get yourself rehydrated, and then get back to work on Friday. Cassidy had some good comments talking about preparing for game 1 of a playoff series. It came earlier in the week. Like, you don't want to over prepare and put too much into it. You don't under prepare either, but he feels that in the past he's put way too much emphasis and pressure on the first game instead of just going out there and letting the boys do their things. So I think that'll be the mindset. I think you'll have a couple loose practices on Friday and Saturday. They'll work, don't get me wrong, but I think he'll keep them upbeat. And if anything, Cassidy will dial things back a little bit coming into the playoffs. And this is kind of when you really leave the team alone. Practices are few and far between now anyway. And most of the skates become optional once game 1, once the puck drops in game 1. You'll see 6-7 players out there in some pregame skates, and it's game time. So this is exciting. This is why we do this show, because we get to cover a team getting to the playoffs nearly every single year, and again, a team that is among the favorites for a Stanley Cup run. And I mean, the West softened up a little bit. We talked about this, although Edmonton seems to be kind of back to full health right now. McDavid played last night. Draisaitl should be either playing or should be back. And Logan Couture retiring. That was unfortunate news the way that broke. And then Saravelli's getting some heat for that, I saw.
Why Saravelli getting?
Because Saravelli broke the news before it was public.
Okay.
Saravelli broke Logan Couture's retirement, which I think that's kind of crappy.
Really? He's doing his job. He's doing his job
fine, but retiring, that's kind of a personal. Like, I understand that the line is very jagged, and it's written with a very thin pencil where you can barely see the ink when it comes to lines you cross as media and stuff. And Lord knows I've crossed a few of them and gotten my hand slapped, rightfully so, every time I did, for the most part. Not every time, but a few of the times I definitely earned my lashes that I took. But when it comes to a player's retirement and stuff like that, I think you give that moment to the player and don't take it away from him.
Don't forget, tomorrow we'll have a preview VGK against the Minnesota Wildcards. You like that nickname? Okay,
sure.
We'll stick with it.
Sure.
Awesome. Of course, and tomorrow's WTF Day. Don't forget to get all of your comments lined up. There's always some really terrific ones. Even if they take a shot at myself or Golick, we appreciate it for sure. And please subscribe to our Lockdown Golden Knights YouTube channel. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco reporting from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on Lockdown Golden Knights. Take care.